Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavakai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So the next verse. Yasya sarve samarambhaha samat kama sankalpa varjitaha dana vidatta karmana tamahu panditam buddha. So this is a beautiful so yasya sarve samarambhaha kama sankalpa varjitaha. So that means as you begin to live a life of karma yoga, what happens is you almost your personal projections, your personal will, your personal all that begin to be less and less, and you begin to be more and more aligned with what is, and life begins to flow. So that means, here he says, Yasya sarve samarambhaha kama sankalpa vanjitaha. So that means, generally, please understand one thing. I think during the break, a few persons asked me this question, that when I say that there is swadharma, and suppose I'm doing something, and if I don't like it, right? So is it a rule that I have to just now kind of change my attitude and keep doing it? So one thing you have to understand is, yeah, that is one possibility, that you can change your attitude and you can do it differently, right? But there is no rule that you have to get stuck in that given situation. See, that is also use of your free will, intelligent navigation. So if you really feel that this particular thing that you are doing right now, it doesn't really resonate with your interest, you can also kind of, begin to explore other possibilities. There is no problem. Now, what is the difference? The difference is, if you operate only from your needs, then what happens is all your decisions are made in two ways. Dissatisfaction with what is now and personal gratification. So that means in those choices that you make, the only person who really you care for is yourself. You don't care for others around you. And the impact your actions are going to have on others. So that means the more and more you begin to consider the fact that, hey, you are not living alone in this world. You are connected to so many people, and your actions have impact on others. That is one thing. And secondly is that you begin to flow with life in the sense that you, if for example you feel that you have preference for something else, you can begin to explore to do it and wait from the response of the universe. So that means you begin to work with the universe rather than work only from your will and your needs and your wants. Just an imagery. It's a nice imagery. Now imagine that you are a boatman and you have to reach the final destination. And you have to go across. And you have only one thing in mind, and that is what? I want to get there somehow. And your whole buddhi is only like, yeah, I want to get there somehow, no matter what happens. What are you going to be relaxed and enjoying the thing? You'll put so much pressure on yourself. And then you'll imagine all kinds of things, and then your mind is already, before starting the journey, it's all stressed out. But suppose as a boatman, you say that yes, I want to go there, and I have to ensure that I have good skills, I have a good boat, that is intelligent living. But that's not enough, because I also need to study a little bit the wind. I need to know a little bit the nature of the river, because there could be whirlpools. There can be a kind of... So what happens is, the minute you begin a journey, you not only prepare yourself in terms of skills and possibilities and certain desire that you have to go across, but you begin to work with the forces of the universe. You don't operate only from your little need and your pressures. As you begin to live your life like that, you live in alignment with the forces, which is ultimately, we will see now very soon, Ishvara. So in that case, life begins to be easier and easier. And this is what it says, Yasya Sarve Samarambha. It's not that you don't have to begin anything. You begin things, but Kama Sankalpa Varjitaha. So what is that? That you don't operate only from your needs and your wants. Not only. But look at the overall picture. And secondly, what? Kama. Kamaha, as I said, that it doesn't, see, without some kind of a thing in mind, without some desire, you can't start doing things. But those desires, if they rule you, then what will happen is dharma will be relegated to the secondary place. When you keep very much dharma in mind, and then pursue your likes and your desires, then what? And use the indication from the forces. One thing is, you are not living in a dumb universe. You are living in a universe which has an intelligent design, and as we will soon see, manifestation of Ishvara. So therefore, you have to take into account the design, your role in the design, and begin to what? Use your free will, but what? Begin to flow with it. That's a different way of living life. There was, I think on the first day, on a Thursday, I showed just one little example of how to do it. We showed one example. There was a temple story. And the temple story was that what you tell yourself, you are doing. So there was one man who saw some series of stone cutters, and they were cutting the stone. And he asked the first man, "What are you doing?" And the first man says, "Oh, I'm cutting this stupid stone, but I have to do it. So now I can't wait till it's 5 so that I can go home." That is his attitude. The second one, he asked, "What are you doing?" And he says, "Oh, I'm doing a job to support my family. I have kids, I have wife, and I need to support them. So I'm doing my job." Second stone cutter. The third stone cutter. The third stone cutter says, "I want to do the best job possible to fit this stone in this wall." They are all doing same job, but their vision undergoes change. Then, there is a long story, I'll cut it short because I have not much time. The fourth one says, "I'm building a temple." The stone cutting remains the same, But how you define your work and how you see your participation in it, it undergoes a major change. And finally, the person says, through this temple, I am making it possible for thousands of people over generations to relate to Ishvara, and I also grow in the process. Stone cutting. But you can increase your vision. And none of this, do you think that anybody is in a fantasy? Each one is right. But which is the most evolved perspective? The last one. Because it is true. It is the truth. So therefore, this is how slowly, slowly, slowly your life begins to grow as a human being. And your needs, your pressures, your demands begin to be less. Then what happens is you become ready for the knowledge. If you are this kind of a person who is not only ethical but has personal expansion, and you navigate your life intelligently, keeping in account all the forces of the universe, and begin to, who was saying, Surya was using this dance with the universe? I think you use this word in meditation, right?
Yes, dance.
Then everything becomes joyful and light. And that person can understand Atma is limitless. If you feel small, insignificant, full of fears, full of anger, which is all suppressed, unaddressed, feel isolated, from this you think this is preparation to understand you are limitless? Not possible. You first need to grow as a human being like that. Find your connection with the forces, find bigger meanings in what you do, navigate your life intelligently, become a contributor, become a sensitive human being, take initiatives to free yourself from the emotional burdens of the past. Then he says, Jnana-agni dagdha karmani. Then what happens is, once the preparation is done, the knowledge of Atma being limitless, that will shine in your buddhi in as clear as daylight. And what will happen as a result? All the karmas are all what? All destroyed by the fire of knowledge. And then you are who? Panditaha, what? Ahuhu Gedhyar Buddhaha. So that means the people who know the reality, they say, this person has become wise. Otherwise, see how the whole verse is tricky. Anybody can pass off as a wise person. All you have to do is to grow your beard, grow your hair, wear funny clothes, and everybody starts thinking, oh, you're different, you're this great wise person. It's easy. But you can't fool a pandita, the person who is wise, person who knows the reality, can see easily beyond the appearance. So that means that if the wise person, a wise person says that you have gained means the wise person knows. They have a way to tell where you are in your journey of truth. So that means the person who has done the job, and the knowledge begins to shine. The minute the person opens the mouth and begins to explain the reality, people see the difference. You could have studied this knowledge for years as a scholar. But if you have lack of clarity, then it all comes out in some all complicated, all very unreachable things. But if the person sees what one is talking about, there is a clarity. So this is where the minute you open your mouth, the wise person knows how much you understand and how much you don't understand. So, simple. Many people used to come to Swamiji and they said, Swamiji, I understand Vedanta very well, but I don't feel limitless. So now, Swamiji used to laugh. And he used to say, hey, if you really understand Vedanta, you will not have this question. The limitless, please understand. How are you going to feel limitlessness? How? She's right. She's nodding her head. No, not possible. You only feel emotions. You can't feel limitlessness. Limitlessness is the reality. The reality of Atma being the truth of time, truth of space, truth of object. How are you going to feel this reality? What feeling will correspond to this truth of Atma? Show me one feeling which will correspond to this truth of Atma.
Happiness?
So that means that the feeling of fulfillment, because you understood what needs to be understood. You've solved the puzzle. But it does not mean, please understand, that the mind has many, many different feelings. There is no feeling of the mind which you can make stand still. So that means the minute that happiness goes, your limitlessness will go. Is this knowledge? No. Circumstances will change and that feeling of happiness will change to something else. Nobody can put a stop to the feeling. This feeling is at the level of mind, and the nature of mind is that it keeps on changing. And what is the nature of knowledge? To understand that mind's nature is to change. I am that awareness which does not change with the nature of mind. So by asking that question, you are still connecting your I to what? Your mind. Have you understood it? No.
So there is no feeling of Ananda?
So,
Satchit Ananda?
yeah, so that means that this Satchidananda is a fact about Atma. It is not a matter of the feeling of the mind. That knowledge will give you fulfillment, true. But it will not give you one feeling of what we call the emotion of Ananda which will never stop. That is not what is meant by this knowledge. something is lacking, something is not right, that will go away. Because you know the nature of Atma clearly. So therefore, this is what, that the minute you ask this question, Swamiji knows that you have a long way to go before you understand. But what is your statement? I understand everything. But I'm waiting for the feeling to be.
What is this Satchidananda? What is it?
Oh my God. Okay, now, yes, I will explain. I don't know how much time I have, but I think it's important. It's important. What is this Satchidananda? Is true. Good question. And both of you ask good question. See, among all the different experiences that you have, all the feelings that you have, what is the most pleasant feeling that you have? Happiness, right? That's what is the happiest. That is something, that the feeling that you want to keep recreating when you live in this world. Now, when you have this happiness feeling, that you don't need Atma or anything. You can have a nice cup of coffee and you can feel happy, right? Now, when you have the experience of happiness, so I had a Witzenhausen retreat and I asked in the audience, I said, what makes you happy? So one young boy tells me, I'm happy with when I'm with my girlfriend. Wonderful, it's true. Gives you happiness. Can't pretend, oh, it doesn't give you pain. That's not true. So that means any object can give you happiness. The only problem is that it is only temporary. Now, but still it is there. Now you have to ask yourself, when this feeling of happiness is there, where is it coming from? If it is there, it must come from somewhere, right? Yes. So, normally we think that my girlfriend is giving me happiness. Or any object. I mean, this is just a symbol. But the same girlfriend, after 2 years, if I ask, is she giving you happiness? No, we are beginning to have fights. Oh, I'm not even with him or her anymore. So what happened? If she was really the source of happiness, your life is made. Because every time you're sad, you just need to have her by your side and you'll be happy. So that means when you are with your girlfriend for the time being, there is the feeling of happiness and you think the source is her. But it cannot be her, because if it was her, every time you're with her, it should give you happiness. Because if she's the source of happiness, then every time she's there, you'll be happy. That is not true. And not only that, everybody else will be running after her if she is source of happiness. Because everybody is searching for happiness. So therefore, that happiness is not in her. But you still have this experience of happiness. Where is it? You still have to find the answer. Where is it coming from? Then you can say, oh, she is not the source of happiness. It's me, the little one, who is the source of happiness. It's not outside, it's inside. A, if you were already happy, you should be happy with or without her. The very fact that you are searching for experiences of happiness through here, through here, through here, it means that the source of happiness is not this searcher you who's constantly searching for moments of happiness. My God, this is a puzzle. I do have an experience of happiness, and in that experience of happiness, two characters are involved, me and the object. but both of them are not source of happiness, and I still have experience of happiness. Where is it coming from? We never think about things. Vedanta makes you think about things that you never thought about before. So, what Vedanta says is, neither the happiness is in the object, nor the happiness is in the seeker you who's searching for happiness. But there is an experience of happiness. Something very interesting happens in the experience of happiness. What happens? For the time being, there is a resolution of seeker and sought. For the time being. What does it mean? That I am seeking, I'm waiting, I'm in my college and 5 o'clock I'm waiting to see my girlfriend. When I see her, then what? For that time being, what happens? The seeker and sought resolves. And what is that experience? Happiness. But what happens normally is that she's in a bad mood and she said something impolite. Again you become what? The seeker. Seeker of her to behave in a different way. What happened to your happiness? Gone. So that means any time you experience any happiness, it is a result of, for that time being, there is a resolution of seeker and sought. But what ends up happening is you begin to seek something else. And again, what? You become a seeker, and again you are searching for sought. And if you are able to align, again there is happiness. So that is how we keep searching for happiness from the childhood to death. As a child through the toys, then as a teenager through relationships. Then we become a little bit adult, then jobs, then cars, then homes, then vacations. So the seeker sought, when they come together for a while, there is happiness, but again the seeker changes. Your preferences also change as life goes. And there is no guarantee that what you will have will what you will get, that what you want, what you seek, you will get. But once in a while there is an alignment of seeker and sought, and that gives you happiness. Now, how is Vedanta related to all of this? What the happiest experience that you have, which is happiness, which is a result of what? The coming resolution of seeker and sought. Vedanta forever what? Resolves this difference between seeker and sought. How many things are there in the universe? One. Where is the seeker? Where is the sought? Through the knowledge, you resolve this difference of me, the seeker, seeking something else for my fulfillment. That is resolved forever, forever. It doesn't come back. This is why Atma is called Ananda Swarupa. It is not called Ananda as such, it is Ananda Swarupa. What you have, the most pleasant experience for you is happiness. In that happiness there is a temporary resolution of seeker and sought. But it again comes back because your seeking again comes back. Vedanta resolves this difference between seeker and sought permanently. This is why Atma is Ananda Swarupa. Atma being limitless, there is no second thing in the universe. If there is no second thing in the universe, where is the division between seeker and sought? So this is why we are not talking about one little experience in the mind. We are talking about knowledge. Knowledge of Atma being limitless, fullness, whole. So therefore, don't sit and wait for some experience in mind to arise. Because, look at this, we call Atma limitless. If you wait for one experience of happiness to come, when will it begin? When will it begin? Let's say now. Let's say it begins now. For how long it was not there, that experience? How old is the universe? Billions of years. Now you have some experience beginning now, after billions of years. You call this experience limitless? No. If you are a little thinking person, and only you are experiencing with your mind, and everybody else is not experiencing. Is it limitless? Limitless means what? What does limitless mean? Can there be two in limitless? No. Because if there is one thing which is huge and the second thing which is tiny, if this tiny thing is totally separate from this huge thing, it will still limit this huge thing because it's independent of that. So therefore, limitlessness by definition means only one. And this is what you need to understand yourself. If you understand that you are limitless, you are not searching for experience like everybody else. You are free because Atma is free. So therefore, this is what we call Jnana Nidartha Karmana. Once this is clear, the karma, what we call the actions, are performed where? By this, what we saw, this I sense, the karta, the doer. The doer is where there is I sense, which is a function of the mind. So that means, as long as you think I am that doer, till then there is karma for you. Every action you perform has twofold result, seen result and unseen result. The knowledge of Atma, what does it do? It makes you understand the fact that this karta is one function of the mind. Who am I? The awareness, without which this karta cannot exist. But I am free from being karta. The minute then what happens is that there is, the whole account is closed for this person. The fire of knowledge burns all the whole account which is in your causal body, it's all gone. Because there is a paradigm shift about the nature of Atma. You don't continue to be the same little entity who's imagining some limitlessness. this is what this verse says. Now, in order to gain this knowledge, I will do one more verse because I am quite running short of time. Tat vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninastattvadarshinah. How this Bhagavad Gita is there? The teachings are there. They're as brilliant as they can be. But you try to just look at the literal words and read the translations and see how much you understand. You can look at the dictionary meaning of each word and you can know exactly what the translation is. And how far will you get? You'll only say Gita is a little confusing. So that means to make you see the vision, you need what? You need to go to a teacher. What kind of a teacher? Jnaninaha. The person who knows. The person understands each part of the verse. Where is it fitting in the whole vision? If you begin to make mistakes, what is talked about as your preparation you start taking as absolute reality. Or the absolute reality you begin to put in your preparation, imagine the confusion that it will create in your mind. So therefore, you need to go to a competent teacher. Jnaninaha tattvadarshinah. The people who have understood, they see the reality. So therefore, here he says, now, first of all, how will you find a jnani? Will you go looking for a jnani with torch? Who has his halo?
The internet.
In the internet is very hard, yeah. Nowadays, that's so true.
Everything.
That is, yeah. So there is a very nice festival in India, which is called, it is called Guru Purnima. Guru Purnima is the day on which you pay respect to your teachers and all teachers. So there was in WhatsApp nowadays there's some messages. And the message is, the new guru is Google. Because you type anything, it'll give you an answer. It'll answer all your questions. So this is what, right? So that means you do Google search on Gita, you'll have hundreds of things. You read all those commentaries and it'll only confuse you more. So that means that this is where you have to understand, you have to pray. You have to, through your prayers, there are beautiful prayers in India which actually ask for this truth. Asato ma sadgamaya. From asat, all the confusion, you take me to the truth. But how will you reach truth? Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. From the darkness of ignorance, take me to the light of knowledge. What will I get by that? Mrityor ma amritam gamaya. From life of mortality, immortality. Because Atma is free from being born. When you ask for it, you put out your intention. You pray to the universe. And somehow, through some interconnections, teacher will appear. The teacher and student relationship. who comes to learn from whom is not just a function of your will, my will. There are big things taking place. It is part of this great grand design. This is why before every retreat is exactly the same. There are people who register just few days before, some cancel, and some new ones who are not going to come, they come. You have your thing, but then there is some shuffling going on according to Ishvara's design. So therefore, there is the certain amount of the order, grace of Ishvara available if you happen to meet in your lifetime a teacher who knows. It is not easy. Now, not only the teacher knows, but you need to inspire the teacher to teach you. What is the need of teacher? Tell me. I said, oh my God, now from this person is coming with, oh, my life is this, and I have to teach limitlessness, and I have to teach how to prepare, and oh my God, what a lifelong enterprise. Why should I get into it? Am I not just happy being myself? True, right? So this is why you need to inspire the teacher. How will you inspire teacher? Here he says, Pradipatena pariprashnena sevaya. You go with the right attitude. You don't go with saying, there was a little cartoon that Surya showed because he teaches Vedanta in business school. So he had that there was this yogi who was sitting in the Himalayas, and then comes a helicopter, and comes one CEO in the helicopter. From the helicopter he comes out, and he says, I have half an hour, can you teach me truth of life? So therefore, you can't approach a teacher like that. So that means you have to have a certain respect. Because the teacher has really no need. Too much effort. And therefore, what? The right attitude. Then, right questions. See, every time it is interesting when somebody asks me an intelligent question, I'm so inspired. It shows me that you are thinking about things. It shows me that you are deeply engaged. It shows me your clarity. And this is exactly how my teacher was. Anytime I asked him a question, his eyes would sparkle and he would look at me and explain what I wanted to know with so much interest. So that means that when you think through things and you ask some good questions, there is no better reward for a teacher. It inspires the teacher. This is why Surya wanted to learn. This is true not only for Vedanta, it's true for everything. Where for a few months, for a few years, we were living in Chennai. And Surya wanted to go and learn music from one of the very famous artists. So Surya goes to him and says, I want to learn music from you. And he tells, you know what he tells Surya? Okay, I'll teach you music, but next time you come and see me, you prepare one song and you sing in front of me, and then I'll teach you. And then what happened? Surya didn't go back. learn from a great person, hey, you also have to have certain level, right? So therefore, this is what your intelligent questions inspire to teachers. Pariprashne. Sevaya. Sevaya means this attitude of, see, this service and all, you have to be careful. It is not that you have to become the kind of a servant of a teacher. It's not like that. It only means that when somebody gives you so much, can you compare the contribution of this teacher of Vedanta with any other contribution? The person who makes you see your own limitlessness. Can there be any more contribution of anybody else in your life? Impossible. Takes you from this struggling human being, constantly to the understanding your glory and also being a mature person, contributor, free from all this emotional baggage. Can you even imagine the person's contribution to your life? And can you ever repay that person? Never. And if somebody contributes so much to your life, you do your part. That is called seva. That seva can be in terms of your own teaching. Swamiji said that the biggest seva you can do to me is not hang around the ashram after the course is over. But go and share this teaching with others. There are so many human beings who are searching. That is the greatest service you can do to this tradition of teaching. Go and share it with others. It will not only bless others, but it will bless you. Because the minute you begin, you have to teach somebody else. And the minute they ask all kinds of questions, then you also refine your knowledge. So therefore, this contribution, the attitude of contributing, recognizing the contribution of the teacher and the tradition to your life, and also with the attitude of somehow giving back, whether to the teacher or to somebody else. But you have to do that. Then he says the teacher will be inspired and they will begin to teach you. Upadekshati te jnana. The teaching will flow. Even in a classroom, all of you, your facial expressions, your interest, your nods, what you come and tell me after the class, it helps me a lot. Imagine if everybody is like this. No expression, nothing. You have no idea, you have no feedback whether you understand, you don't understand, you agree, you don't agree. It's so difficult to teach. Teaching is what a student-teacher relationship. For the time being, we are related. And in that relationship, there has to be connection. Can't be no connection and just I do my job and you do your job. It can't be like that. I give my best. Every class, I give my best. Because I respect the fact that you take time off from your life when you come here. Make it possible for you to be here. So therefore, that your participation and my participation, it's a dynamic. The more you show interest, the more things that I never thought of will start coming out of my inspiration. So this is how the teaching becomes fruitful for, it blesses both. Upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninaha tattvadarshana. And shifts will take place in your life way beyond this classroom. What you heard will come to your mind. So many people tell me that what I heard from you came to use, I don't know, some in completely different, in different time, different context. So this is how the teaching has to become online. And you have to be blessed to find a teacher who will show you the truth. And you have to inspire the teacher to do the good job. It is a dynamic. Otherwise, only through the books, not possible. Like any other knowledge. Can you just say, okay, I'm not going to ever go to school. I'm going to sit and study biology. I'm going to go and sit and study chemistry. I have all the books. Books have all the knowledge. In every discipline, you need Guru. Then what to talk of Vedanta, which is, we are not talking about an object. We are talking about the subject, which is never available for objectification. You need a competent teacher. So, this is what. But now, 15th one I have already done. So, after the break, I will do 16th. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate